we've been getting a lot of hub vendors reaching out to us too, saying, "Hey, we know there's work that needs to be done in the western part of the state. We want to see how we can help, how we can contract to be involved in things that are going on." And instead of trying to figure things out one vendor at a time, we wanted to try to bring a bunch of the procurement professionals together, understand how things are working in your neighborhood, and understand how you're communicating to vendors, what emergency needs there might be, and is there a place that we can send people to, or how do we help get the word out about your need in those particular types of procurement. And we've done some looking in the hub database to identify vendors who have identified commodity codes that seem to be mostly disaster related, but there may be things that we're missing. So that's kind of one of the reasons to ask for your input on it. We've seen some things in the commodity codes that seem to make sense to us to look for, but if there are other things that we need to keep an eye out for, we want to do that and go ahead and be proactive and identify the folks who might be able to help you. So I do believe that I heard a couple of folks shared with us that PNC put out a quick guide. It's like a 2-page guide on procurement during state emergencies. And I attached it to the update of today's meeting that I sent out just a little while ago. So hopefully everybody will have a copy of that. You may already have it, but wanted to touch base here, and I, I want to open it up to everybody who's here and we may not be able to go through everybody and see what's going on, but if people want to go through and say, I'm with this agency, this is what needs we have, that would be great. And if there's a way that you're communicating that to vendors, that would be great. I don't know if these are going out on EVP or not. We've got about a dozen or so disaster related postings on our website, and anything that you post in EVP does get to the hub office solicitation dashboard, and but it doesn't have a way in EVP for you to note that it's an emergency related or disaster related. But on our end, we do have that ability. So if you know you're putting something in EVP that's disaster related, and if you can email us real quick and say, hey, here's the solicitation, it's disaster related, we can keep an eye out for it and we can flag it so that when people are saying, let me look at all the disaster things that are out there, they can do that. So that's one way that we could support you in helping you find folks to do those disaster related things. But I'm going to stop because I have a tendency to run on and ask you all, how are you communicating? Are you doing anything differently? What needs do you see?
Hi, everybody. It's Darlisa from DHHS. And we have a few facilities that are located out in the western part of North Carolina. And so I just wanted to give some type of update of what they're looking for and how they're operating now. From what I understand, most of the facilities out in that part have power, but no running water. And the facilities are continuously seeking quotes from hub vendors and non-hub vendors on that need. So anybody that can help with restoring water to the facilities out in that area would be great.
Okay, so that's about restoring the water. Not is there also a need for drinking water or anything along those lines and as well at the same time, or is it mostly we got our drinking situation covered, but we need to get the water restored?
Um, that wasn't anything that was expressed to me, but
Okay.
I'd rather err on if they don't have running water, that they could be getting in bottled water from from relief from some of the relief efforts, but I don't think you ever can have too much water. So I would definitely make note of that, please.
Okay. All right. And I think we do get a listing from the capital project coordinators about the different regions that are doing just general construction. So I think in those updates, it would tell us what those facilities are in the western region. So we probably can look at those so we know which counties those are in.
Okay, that's it from BHHS.
Okay, thank you, Darlisa. Meredith, you've got your hand raised.
Hey there, yeah. I know DMVA has the Veterans Home in Black Mountain. They had reached out actually late last week, I believe. No, when did the storm come? Anyways, last week, about porta potties and chainsaws and things like that. So we followed the guidance of raising up P cards to be able to make those purchases from anybody that they could even get in there to provide some of those services. And then they'll be following the emergency purchase where we go and try to find hub vendors, try to find vendors in EVP. But to be honest, if it was a great need at that time for the veterans, they were doing what they could and then submitting those invoices for direct payment as emergencies. So that's kind of
okay.
Some of the needs that we had, where I knew they needed chainsaws, so we did those on P card, and then porta potties, and I think they were having a hard time finding anybody to even deliver porta potties there. So I'm not sure what happened with that, but I haven't heard anything further once we decided that it was just going to be emergency based. So
okay. Would it be appropriate for somebody to follow up with them to say,
you can
hey,
check with
how's your situation?
Yeah, I mean, yes, you can reach out to me and then I'll get with them.
Okay.
Or the other way, or give you who needs the contact there. So.
Okay. Because we can start looking for that, but if they've found a resolution,
right,
we want to be judicious with our time. Okay. Thank you, Meredith.
And this is Shay. I have a question. Just wanted to clarify, Darlisa, when you talked about restoring the water, are they literally looking for commercial plumbers, or do you know if there are other like trades that are involved in that supply chain to restore the water? Do you have any?
I'm actually sending a message over to our DSOF facility manager, so that way she can give me some more details. So I'll add that to that question as well, because what just went through my mind when I heard Meredith was, well, they have power, but they have no running waters. What about toilets? So I'm like, do they need porta potties too? So thank you for that.
Okay.
I'll add that question and I'll follow up.
Okay, thank you.
If I can add one thing too, from a meeting that we had with one of the secretaries, was in certain areas they have no water, and in certain areas they're having to build infrastructures for a whole entire new water system. And so I'm not sure if this is what Darlisa is referring to, but it's so huge that we would need to know exactly, once the infrastructure is built, I mean, kind of tear it down as to what all would be needed under that huge statement that you made, Darlisa, as best you can. I know that it's early. We're going to also tap into DIT because it's early for them as well, but making sure that as they begin to have conversations, we'll know what's what. But Darlisa, whatever commodity groups you can give us, Whatever the skill set or need is that you can give us as best you can. It's going to change as progress is made, but we would love to keep the communication going, okay?
Sounds great. I'll definitely, maybe that's gonna be the easiest. I'll ask her for commodity and, see kind of what she gets. But maybe we just need to set up a meeting and
Okay.
talk in more detail. So then that way we can get those details, because this is just piecemeal, I sent
Sure.
over the questions that you asked us, and I sent it
Mhm.
out to the team. Cause I don't really work on that side of the procurement, just to see what our field managers were saying, and this was just a response, but it's just a start. So you guys have given me a lot of detailed questions to ponder on. So we'll see. I'll open it up. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank
And
you. It is a start and more to come. Thank you.
Yeah.
and I know that we're trying to get like water situations taken care of for like a high volume of people. So maybe this idea is not one that's going to be terribly relevant or helpful. But is there any kind of need that anybody would feel like for having like portable water filtration kind of systems, that could maybe filter out some of the stuff from what other water sources that are not, you know, going through a water treatment facility?
A good one too. Or even
Yeah.
like those emergency straws that they have that,
Yeah.
that you can get, that's individual use, but, you know, the more options, the better, I guess, in this situation.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Does anybody else have any other needs that they're seeing, whether it's come and it's been addressed or things that may still be out there? We've got a lot of folks, so we've got about 20 people on the call, so I imagine that I don't know if people are here and they have not been hearing that. I'm interested to to understand where you're coming from for this. I'm not saying that you can't be here. I want you here. I just want to understand what needs you have or what you're hoping to take away.
John, this is Cindy Arms with DNCR.
Yes.
Right now, only a few have really reached out. I think they're still assessing damage
Right.
in some places, but what I have heard is in the debris removal, which they're working through some vendors on the EMS list, that capital projects, that's going through our capital projects. But I've been speaking with some about remediation, water remediation and repair, and then like tree removal. And then I feel like we'll hear more, as they're able to access the sites. Some of our sites, they still haven't been able to go in and fully know all of the damage.
Mm-hmm.
So we may be a little bit ahead of ourselves in terms of what
Yeah.
needs people have, and it may evolve over time.
Yeah.
So
Those are my
that's
thoughts too,
understandable.
John. I know that because we didn't want to sit on it because the vendors were ready. We knew that there was a need, but I think as we move forward, we wanted to make sure. I know it's been a while since we have had a meeting, so this was very, very timely. And I think we are ahead. And what I mean by being ahead is the assessing of all of this is going to be ongoing for a while, but we wanted to make sure that you all knew that we were here. Carla Copes couldn't be on this call because she's having an outreach event today, but Carla Copes is going to assist with additional needs that you all may have regarding finding vendors and securing vendors, but also John and I too. So we want to make sure that you all know that you all have contacts in the hub office. And I know it's very, very forward thinking, but that was where IT with Kelly as well as James and Leroy, as you all find out information from an IT perspective, whether it's cabling, I know it's gonna require everything. I'm just kind of calling out a few things, But if you all can let us know what you're hearing, what vendors and skill sets and trades will be needed, that we'll begin to get a list together ahead of schedule. And then we'll be able to walk with you all through whatever that need is as you all find out more information.
This is Kristen Burnett. So I am on a DIT. I am on a daily call with
Okay.
management about IT needs. Jim Weaver down, and
Okay.
one of the things that we've been tasked to do is put a contract in place with Starlink. And there aren't very many competitors to Starlink, and it's a low Earth orbit satellite for people for cell phones, for internet connection and stuff. So I've been on numerous calls daily trying to figure out what our options are. We're trying to do it now. Emergency management reached out to Jim Weaver and said, okay, we need help. This is what we need.
Sure.
And now we're trying to figure out, I was on a call this morning about the number of, and these aren't actual citizens. These are agencies that agencies that are here to help the locals and the local businesses and stuff. And I think there's a count of like 650 devices that need to be purchased. So we're trying to figure out the best route and everything. You were kind of talking about other things. So one of the things that we are trying to do is trying to figure out what do we have in surplus that we can give to other agencies so they don't have to buy. We're also trying to figure out, what can we buy now and hopefully get money back from FEMA so we don't even have to build back the agency. I mean, last thing you want to do is if offices are gone, oh, by the way, we'll get this for you, but you got to pay us. So we don't know. So yeah, it is everybody, everybody's working really hard to figure out things.
That's right.
Trying to figure out all the numbers. Yeah, I was on a call earlier about trying to find the number of life losses that we had. I was just like, I was crushed. I was like, who, we need a record of that. And I have a feeling that on the news, the 5 o'clock news or whatever this evening, it's going to come out. The verified death toll for it's just, but I think this meeting is great. I think so Starlink, I can't see us going to a hub vendor for that, but there's so many more procurement needs and things that we could use their companies for, that I think this is great that you're doing this.
No,
So when
thank you
you
so much.
And when you figure out what those other needs might be, that would be helpful to let us know so we can keep an eye out and kind of search for those things.
Okay.
Because I think you're right. You probably won't have a small company be able to do some Starlink
Right.
related things.
That's very true. And Chris, I apologize. I missed you when I was you're talking about the IT folks. Sorry, I missed you. You're on there's more than one page. So sorry I missed you.
Yes, that's fine.
Yeah, so that'll be great. Thank you for this update. And one thing we also wanted to share is we're going to have our midweek event October 31st, and each of you are all invited to attend. One thing we're going to have at our midweek event is the opportunity to have resources for the vendors that are seeking to do work in the area of the Western region, but also having a resource table for people that are seeking help for their friends or family members that are in the Western region. So if you all have a contact sheet, a contact list, any resource information, links for food, anything that you all have, if you all can send that to our office, if you can send it to John, please, so that we can have this information readily available for other business owners and people that attend that event as well. We're all trying to figure out how to help, what we can do. And so as you all have meetings and as we're able to make some progress, please contact us, even if it's just a resource update, resource information. However, we as a team can help those in the Western region. That's our goal.
And this isn't disaster specific, so I apologize for going off topic, but the hub spending report system, a lot of you use that for your hub reporting. And it's been a long time coming, but we just gave them the go ahead to move the testing into production. And that means it's going to be usable by people who normally use it, which is, anybody who has logged into Hub SRS before. But what we're asking everybody to do is we're going to give like a week to say, okay, please go in and take a look at it, see if there's anything weird that you see, and let us know, hey, this doesn't look like it's working right, or it's showing these vendors and it shouldn't be showing these things. Anything that looks out of the ordinary, that's what we need to know. We're holding off transferring the data for last year's Q2, Q3, Q4, and this year's Q1 until we get that feedback. And it's not ready yet, but it should be in a few days where our regular SRS users could go in and take a look at the new system. And we'll have to send a link for it because it's not going to be the same link. We actually are, it's totally separate from the previous system. It's almost identical in the way that it's going to work. It's just that our source of data now is the North Carolina financial system, whereas the original one was NCAS. We're going to keep that system so that you can go in and take a look at older data, but moving forward, we're going to be using this new link. So just wanted to give you a little heads up on that. We do want to hear from folks, and I know that not everybody has had a chance to speak today. If you have something, or if you are saying, hey, has anybody had this need? It wouldn't hurt to put it out, send it to us. If you want to copy each other, you could do that and say, has anybody, found porta potties or found whatever it is you're looking for? I'm not sure that we want to have a giant, email chain going around, but there's people who will have been looking for, well, maybe have been looking for what you're looking for. Somebody's got to be the first at some point to look for something, but it could be that a lot of folks need that. And if you want to funnel it through us, that would be great. So we can take a look at hub vendors who might be able to provide that for you. And once we find those, we can probably share that. We'll probably need to think about how we're going to do that. And I'll talk to Alicia on ways that we can share lists and communicate so that people can, so it's not necessarily just a one-off use, but if anybody else has that need, they can make use of the list too.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, well, hopefully everybody on here has our contact information. If you received the notice, then you've got my email address, so you can just reach out to me if you have a particular thought, or if you want to just tell us situations that your facilities are in, we can talk through what that might mean. And it might mean bringing in a discussion with the CPCs, the capital project coordinators or facilities folks, and we meet with them later this month. So we'll have an opportunity for that, but needs may come up sooner than that, and it's fine to bring that to us before then, before we have our regular meeting. So thank you, everybody. I hope this was helpful and useful to everybody. We're keeping everybody out in Western North Carolina in our minds here. So we've been doing a lot focused on that recently.
We sure have. And from want to thank you all so much again. And some of you all, Carl and I've already met with. Others, we will schedule a meeting just to see exactly where you are. Of course, related to the Hurricane Helene, but also for us to talk about what's going on in your wheelhouse too. So more meetings to be scheduled, more conversations to have. but want to tell you all, thank you so, so much for the support that you've given to our hub vendors and to the hub office. So until we chat again, we say thank you so much and be safe.